what would your advice be to an enterprise size company about to embark on a digital transformation? Like what would be the three biggest mistakes that they should avoid?
Sure.
You've covered a lot of them. You could just pick three of the ones you covered.
Yeah, well, first thing I would say is don't start with the solution. A lot of times we get involved, people are saying we really need an ERP system, or we really need a CRM system, or we need a, whatever. And they may need that, but make sure you really clearly understand your challenges. And, like I said, in my previous example, that manufacturing company really thought they had an inventory problem, when in fact, that was really just a symptom. And they had a forecasting problem that required them to keep large amounts of inventory on hand to respond to their incorrect assumptions about their demand. So don't start with a solution, really clearly understand what your challenges are. And then basically make sure that you understand how the proposed solution will address those challenges. So when we proposed focusing on forecasting, frankly, the client pushed back a lot. And first of all, we've tried to forecast, we can't do it, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the right thing for them to do, because they really had to make sure, and they were responsible for the solution, right? It's not our job to be responsible. Their job is to be responsible for the solution. We're here to help them take that responsibility, but they had to make sure that the proposed solution will actually address the issue they're trying to address. At the end of the day, our client wanted to lower their inventory, and we needed to help them understand how a forecasting system would actually accomplish that for them. So don't start with the solution. Make sure you understand your challenges. Make sure that the proposed solution addresses those challenges. That's number one. So you asked for three. It sounds like three, but okay, I'm going to use that as one. The second thing I would say is make sure that stay focused on solving the main thing. During an implementation, there's just all kinds of temptation to make the extra effort to have those nice to haves. I mean, again, going back to that example, if you're going to be forecasting your demand, well, why don't we forecast our sales commissions while we're at it? That'll help us, manage cash flow or something like that. But this can really open up all kinds of, a can of worms, as they say. So and then the inventory people are asking for barcoding to improve their efficiencies, and the list goes on and on. So every decision needs to directly or indirectly help you meet the objectives for which you undertook this initiative in the first place. That company needed to just keep asking, does this help us lower our inventory? If it doesn't, put it on the backlog for future consideration. There's plenty of opportunity to continue to improve. Don't take it on, so really that scope management is really, really important. And the third thing, finally, I would say is iterate. So let me reiterate, do it iteratively. There are a lot of purists out there. They'll say, here's the pros and cons of different agile methodologies and all of that. And it can be really overwhelming. But frankly, I don't care if you want to use a waterfall methodology, as long as you do it iteratively. I understand the benefits of the various agile methodologies from a software development perspective, but when it comes to transformational technology initiatives, the most important benefit of agile is the iterative nature of it. So, there are very good ways to take an iterative approach and implement small portions of a solution. In the software industry, we call MVP, a minimal viable product, and other product development, they call that as well. You want to focus on getting the solution as small as you possibly can to get the most impact for the issues you're trying to address. And, we do advise our clients to start with a roadmap, create a roadmap. During that define process, when we go through that discovery, you end up with a pretty big list of things you'd like to do and benefits and opportunities and things like that. But as you prioritize those, you build this roadmap, and it helps you be able to see these other things, and helps also people say, oh, well, that might come down the road. We have an opportunity for that later, and don't keep trying to throw it in this one giant initiative, but really keep that initiative as small as you possibly can and plan to iterate over improvements. But with these transformations, you really need to see kind of the big picture so you can take them into account. It's, with software, you can refactor. It's pretty easy from an agile perspective to refactor your software to take into account new requirements. ERP implementation, not so much. So, you do want to kind of have that big picture, but you need to find those specific areas that you can focus on, get a solution in place, and prioritize those, and take those future iterations into account, but make sure that you're delivering value early and often, and don't try to as they say, boil the entire ocean with one big bang implementation. So those are the three things that I would say. Make sure you know what your issues are and that your solution's actually going to address those issues. Make sure you stay focused on the main thing, and make sure that you iterate. Take it in small chunks, get some success, build momentum, and then sustain that momentum. And that's part of what our sustain phase is all about as well.